The Great Hall of the Galactic Council stretched wider than most planetary capitals. Its walls glowed with soft blue light, and the ceiling showed a perfect image of the galaxy spinning above. Representatives from 47 different worlds sat in their assigned seats, arranged in circles that rose up like a giant amphitheater. Some breathed oxygen, others methane. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few were just clouds of organized gas held together by containment fields. Ambassador Kelthar clicked his mandibles together in frustration. His insectoid body shifted in his seat as he looked at the holographic display showing trade route proposals. His compound eyes reflected the star maps in hundreds of tiny images. "This is absurd," Kelthar said, his voice translator turning his clicking sounds into galactic standard language. "We have been debating this route for 6 cycles now. The path through the Saul system would cut our trade time by 40%. 40%? Do you understand how much profit that represents?" Chairman Vexnor leaned forward from his elevated platform. His reptilian features showed no emotion, but his tail moved slowly behind him, a sign those who knew him recognized as irritation. His scales were deep green with gold patterns that marked his high status among his people. "Ambassador Kelthar," Vexnor said in his deep voice, "we have been over this many times. The Sol system is claimed by Earth. The humans refuse all contact. We cannot simply use their space without permission." "Permission?" Kelthar stood up, his 6 legs clicking against the floor. "They are one planet. One single planet that refuses to join civilized society. Meanwhile, we represent 47 worlds, thousands of colonies, and billions of citizens who would benefit from this route." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some agreed with Kelthar. Others remained silent, which was often more telling than words. An elderly representative from the Eldari species slowly stood. Her people were one of the oldest in the council, and when she spoke, others usually listened. Her silver skin seemed to shimmer in the chamber's light. "Perhaps," she said carefully, "we should remember why Earth chose isolation in the first place." Vexnor's eyes narrowed. "Enlighten us, Elder Sora." 200 years ago, when the humans first achieved faster-than-light travel, they came to us. They observed our proceedings for 3 standard months. They asked many questions about council membership, about obligations, about how we resolve disputes. Elder Sora paused. Then they politely declined our invitation and returned home. They have not answered any communication since. Yes, we know this story," Kelthar interrupted. "They are isolationists, primitives afraid of the larger galaxy. This is exactly why we should not let them control valuable space. That is not what concerns me," Elder Sora continued. "What concerns me is what their representative asked during those 3 months. Questions about council military interventions. Questions about species that went extinct under council supervision. Questions about resource distribution among member worlds." The chamber grew quieter. These were not comfortable topics. "Ancient history," Vexnor said, waving his clawed hand dismissively. "The council has evolved since then. We are more fair, more just. The humans judge us on old information. Perhaps," Elder Sora said, sitting down slowly, "or perhaps they saw something we prefer not to see in ourselves." Vexnor's tail stopped moving. "If the Elder is finished with philosophy, we have practical matters to address. The Merchant Guild has filed 17 formal complaints about the current trade routes. Pirates have increased attacks on the longer paths, and the outer colonies are threatening to leave the council if we cannot protect their commercial interests. Then we must act," another representative said. This one was from the Vryn Collective, a militaristic species that provided much of the council's security forces. "Send a diplomatic envoy with military escort. Show the humans that the council is serious. They cannot hide behind silence forever. And if they refuse again?" Elder Sora asked. "Then we take what we need," the Vryn representative said flatly. "One planet cannot hold the entire galaxy hostage." Kelthar clicked his mandibles in agreement. "The Vryn speak sense. We have been too soft, too patient. The humans will understand that joining galactic civilization is not optional." Vexnor looked around the chamber. He saw the faces of those who agreed, those who disagreed, and those who simply wanted the problem resolved. Politics was about counting votes, and he could count very well. "Very well," Vexnor announced. "We will put it to a vote. All in favor of sending an envoy with military escort to formally negotiate passage rights through the Sol system?" The voting display lit up. Green lights appeared across the chamber as representatives approved the measure. A few red lights showed opposition, mostly from the older species, but green outnumbered red by a clear margin. The measure passes, Vexnor declared. Prepare a fleet of 40 warships to accompany our diplomatic vessel. We leave within 10 cycles. The humans will see that the council means business. Elder Sora stood again. Chairman, I must formally register my objection. We know nothing about Earth's true capabilities. They have been silent for 2 centuries. Silent, but watching. Every communication we send passes through their space. They could have been listening, learning, preparing. Preparing for what? Kelthar laughed. Elder Sora, with respect, your people grow cautious in your age. 40 warships represent more firepower than most planetary defenses. The humans have shown no military buildup, no expansion, no aggression. They are simply isolated and backward. Or they are careful and intelligent, Elder Sora replied. There is a difference between having no weapons and choosing not to show your weapons. Vexnor stood, signaling the end of the session. Your objection is noted, Elder Sora, but the decision is made. In 10 cycles, we will open negotiations with Earth. They will join the galactic community, or they will learn that their isolation cannot continue. This council has been patient for 200 years. Our patience has limits. As the representatives filed out of the chamber, Elder Sora remained in her seat. She looked up at the galaxy spinning above her and thought about the human representative from 2 centuries ago, a female named Amanda Chen. Elder Sora remembered her clearly. The human had said very little but watched everything. Her questions had been precise, probing, revealing a mind that saw patterns and connections. On the last day before leaving, Amanda Chen had said something that Elder Sora never forgot. Thank you for your hospitality. We have learned much. Earth wishes you well, but we must decline membership at this time. Perhaps in the future, when the galaxy is ready for what we could offer. At the time, Elder Sora had thought it was diplomatic phrasing. Now, looking back across 2 centuries, she wondered if it had been a warning. She left the chamber slowly, her old bones aching. In 10 cycles, the council would send its fleet to Earth, and Elder Sora had a terrible feeling that they would discover what 200 years of human silence had actually built. The galaxy was about to learn a lesson that the council had forgotten. The quietest predators are often the most dangerous. The council fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Saul system. 40 warships, each the size of a small city, materialized in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed under the distant light of Earth's sun. At the center of the formation, the diplomatic vessel Aurora's Pride displayed the council's official symbols on its side. Commander. Thrax stood on the bridge of the flagship Unbreakable Will. His Vryn physiology meant he stood nearly 8 feet tall, with thick armor-like skin and 4 arms that could crush steel. He had fought in 17 conflicts across the galaxy. Earth's silence did not impress him. All ships report ready status, his second officer announced, scanning for defensive installations. What do we see? Thrax asked. Multiple satellite networks in orbital patterns around the inner planets. Technology level appears consistent with our initial assessment. No capital ships detected. No significant military presence, Thrax grunted. As expected. Scan for their communication arrays. We will broadcast our intentions on all frequencies. Within minutes, the Council's message went out across every channel humans might be monitoring. Ambassador Kelthar's voice carried through space, translated into Earth's dominant languages. People of Earth, this is the Galactic Council. We come in peace to negotiate passage rights through your system. We ask that you respond within 1 standard hour and prepare to receive our diplomatic delegation. Your continued silence is unacceptable to the galactic community. We await your response. 1 hour passed, then 2, then 6. Nothing. Kelthar paced in his quarters aboard the Aurora's Pride. His mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. This is insulting. We offer them dialogue, and they ignore us as if we are beneath notice. Vexnor appeared on his communication screen. The chairman was calling from council headquarters, thousands of light years away. Ambassador, what is your assessment? They are stubborn fools, Kelthar hissed. Perhaps a demonstration is necessary. Something to show we are serious. What do you suggest? Kelthar's compound eyes glittered. Their outer satellites. Disable a few. Nothing permanent. Just enough to prove we have the capability and the will to act. Vexnor was silent for a moment. Very well. But be careful. We are here to negotiate, not to start a war. Of course, Chairman. A small demonstration of authority, nothing more. Commander Thrax received his orders with satisfaction. Finally, action instead of waiting. He targeted 6 satellites in the outer system, far from Earth itself. His weapons officers disabled them with precision strikes. The satellites went dark, their systems fried by directed energy pulses. Satellites neutralized, the tactical officer reported. No response from Earth. Broadcast another message, Thrax ordered. This time Kelthar's voice was harder. Earth, we have demonstrated our capabilities. We have disabled 6 of your satellites as a show of our resolve. We do not wish to escalate further, but we will if you continue to ignore the Council's authority. Respond immediately or we will advance into your system. Another hour passed in silence. Nothing, the communications officer said, sounding confused. No response at all. No emergency broadcasts, no military chatter, nothing. Then we advance, Thrax decided. All ships proceed to Mars orbit. We will establish a staging position there. The fleet moved deeper into the Saul system. Earth's red neighbor grew larger in their viewports. As they approached, they detected several research stations on the Martian surface and in orbit around the planet. Small facilities, lightly populated, exactly the kind of soft target that would make Earth pay attention. Sir, the scanning officer said, we're detecting approximately 300 human life signs in the Martian facilities. Mostly scientists and support personnel, some families. Thrax smiled, showing teeth designed for tearing meat. Perfect. We will take them as guests. Earth will negotiate once we have their people. The landing was efficient. Vryn soldiers, trained and experienced, secured the Martian facilities within an hour. The humans offered no resistance. They seemed shocked, confused, and frightened. Good. That would make Earth listen. Kelthar composed his message carefully. Earth, we now host 300 of your citizens aboard our vessels. They are unharmed and will remain so if you cooperate. We require a response within 12 hours, or we will be forced to take additional measures. The Council's patience is exhausted. 12 hours crawled by. When Earth finally responded, it was not what anyone expected. A single line of text appeared on every Council ship's communication system simultaneously. Simple words in basic galactic standard. Leave. Final warning. Thrax laughed. Final warning from them? How amusing. But then something happened that made his laughter die. Every human signal in the galaxy went silent. Not just in the Saul system. Everywhere. Council monitoring stations across 47 worlds reported the same thing. Human diplomats on Kelthar's homeworld evacuated their embassy within an hour, their ships departing before authorities could question them. Human traders on the Vryn colony worlds withdrew to their vessels and vanished into faster-than-light travel. Human tourists on Elder Sora's planet simply disappeared from their hotels. No records of departure, no traces left behind. Within 6 hours of Earth's message, every single human in Council space was gone. Where did they go? Vexnor demanded over the communication link. He no longer looked calm. We had tracking on their vessels. We had surveillance on their people. How did thousands of humans evacuate without us noticing until after they left? I don't know, Kelthar admitted. His confidence was cracking. Our intelligence services are investigating, but the humans, they were more prepared than we thought. This is concerning. Elder Sora's voice joined the conversation. Chairman, I recommend we withdraw from the Saul system immediately and release the hostages. Absolutely not, Kelthar shouted. That would show weakness. They are trying to frighten us with theatrics. Well, it will not work. Thrax agreed. We hold their people. We have military superiority. They have shown no military response at all. This is a bluff. Then why do I feel like we just made a terrible mistake? Elder Sora asked quietly. The answer came 6 hours later. A junior officer on the Unbreakable Will was running routine scans when something caught her attention. She ran the scan again, certain her instruments were malfunctioning. Then she ran it a third time. Commander, she said, her voice shaking. Sir, you need to see this. Thrax walked to her station. What is it? The moon, sir. Earth's moon. According to our instruments, it just moved. Don't be ridiculous. Moons don't just move. I know, sir. But look at the readings. It changed orbital position by 3,000 kilometers in the last hour. That's not orbital mechanics. That's propulsion. Every scanner in the fleet turned toward Earth's moon. The data came back consistent. The moon had moved. was still moving. And now energy readings were spiking across its surface. "Scan deeper," Thrax ordered. "I want to know what we're looking at." The results made no sense at first. Then slowly the truth became clear. Earth's moon was not a moon at all. Or rather, it had not been just a moon for a very long time. The entire celestial body had been hollowed out, reinforced, and converted into something else. Something massive. A construction platform. A fortress. A weapon it was powering up. "Sir," the communications officer said, her voice barely a whisper. "We're receiving another message from Earth." The message was longer this time. A calm, mechanical voice that somehow felt more terrifying than any scream or threat. "Council Fleet, you have committed an act of aggression against Earth by taking our citizens. You have 4 hours to release them and depart our system. If you do not comply, appropriate consequences will follow. This is your only opportunity to leave peacefully. We suggest you take it." Thrax looked at the readings from the moon. He looked at his fleet of 40 warships, and for the first time in his military career, he felt something he had never felt in battle before. He felt afraid. Commander Thrax stared at his tactical display, trying to make sense of what his sensors were telling him. The numbers kept changing, updating, growing larger. It was impossible, but the instruments did not lie. "How many?" he asked quietly. His tactical officer swallowed hard. "Best estimate, 2,147 contacts. They just appeared on our sensors. No faster than light signatures detected. They were just their ships, human ships. They materialized from nowhere, as if space itself had simply decided to reveal what had been hidden all along. They surrounded the Council fleet in a perfect sphere, every angle covered, every escape route blocked. Some were small fighter-sized vessels, others were massive, larger than anything in the Council's navy, and they had been there all along, invisible, watching. "This is impossible," Kelthar whispered from his station aboard the Aurora's Pride. His mandibles hung slack in shock. "Our sensors are the best in the galaxy. Nothing can hide from our scans. Nothing." "Apparently something can." Elder Sora's voice came through the communication link. Despite the danger, she sounded almost relieved. "I told you. 200 years of silence. Did you really think they spent that time doing nothing?" Vexnor's image appeared on all command screens simultaneously. The chairman's scales had lost some of their color. "All ships hold position. Do not fire unless fired upon. Ambassador Kelthar, try to establish communication." Before Kelthar could respond, every display in the Council fleet changed. A new interface appeared, overriding their systems. Code that no Council programmer could understand ran across their screens. And then a voice spoke. It was not human. It was something else. Something that sounded like 1,000 voices speaking in perfect harmony. "Council fleet, this is the Accord. We speak for humanity." "The Accord?" Thrax muttered. "What is that?" "An artificial intelligence collective, if I had to guess," Elder Sora said. "A network of machine minds working together. Very advanced. Very dangerous if you make them angry." The Accord continued, its voice perfectly calm. "You have taken 300 human citizens as hostages. You have entered our system without permission. You have damaged our property. You have 4 hours to release our people and depart. This deadline is not negotiable." Vexnor found his voice. "This is Chairman Vexnor of the Galactic Council. We are here on official diplomatic business. Your people have ignored all attempts at peaceful communication for 2 centuries. We took these actions only after—" "We heard you the first time," the Accord interrupted. "We heard you every time. We have been listening to the Council for 200 years. We know exactly what you are and what you do. We chose silence because we hoped you would improve. You have not. Now you threaten our people. This is unacceptable. You cannot threaten the Council," Kelthar shouted. "We have over 470,000 ships across all our territories. You are outnumbered." "You are correct," the Accord said. "You do have more ships, but numbers are not everything. Allow us to demonstrate." On Thrax's tactical display, 6 human ships moved toward a Council battle group of 12 vessels. Just 6 against 12. The Council ships powered weapons and prepared to fire. They never got the chance. The human ships did not use conventional weapons. Instead, they emitted waves of energy that Thrax's sensors could barely detect. Gravitational weapons his computer finally identified. The Council ships went dark. Every system offline. Power, weapons, life support, communications, everything shut down in an instant. "They are alive," the Accord said. We do not wish to kill them. We simply wish to show you what we can do. Your ships are disabled but intact. Your crew members are unconscious but unharmed. We can restore their systems in 1 hour, after they wake up with very bad headaches. Or we can leave them floating in space for you to rescue. Your choice. Thrax felt his confidence crumble. 12 warships disabled in seconds. No explosions, no deaths, just sudden and complete defeat. What kind of technology could do that? You have 3 hours and 52 minutes remaining, the Accord reminded them. Vexnor's composure was gone completely now. This is insane. We came here to negotiate, to find a peaceful solution. You came here with 40 warships, the Accord corrected. You disabled our satellites. You took our people hostage. These are not the actions of someone who wants to negotiate. These are the actions of someone who wants to bully and threaten. Humanity does not respond well to threats. What do you want? Vexnor asked desperately. We want you to leave and never return without permission. We want you to remember this moment. We want the galaxy to understand that Earth chooses silence not from weakness, but from wisdom. We tried to be polite. We tried to be distant. You forced this confrontation. Kelthar was panicking now. Chairman, we should withdraw. We cannot fight this. We need to regroup. Bring more ships. Develop countermeasures. You misunderstand, the Accord said. And for the first time, its voice carried something that might have been amusement. There will be no second confrontation. The time limit is not for negotiation. It is for you to make a choice. Leave peacefully, or learn why humanity evolved beyond war. Thrax looked at Vexnor's image. Chairman, I recommend we release the hostages and withdraw. We are completely outmatched. No. Vexnor's pride would not accept defeat. We are the Galactic Council. We do not surrender to one planet. Hold position. Reinforcements will arrive within... The Accord's voice cut him off. Reinforcements will not arrive. We have already sent messages to your other fleets. They know what happened here. Many are reconsidering their loyalty to the Council. Several species are asking questions about why you provoked this conflict. Your authority is crumbling, Chairman. Every moment you delay makes it worse. You cannot possibly... Vexnor started. We have been inside your computer systems for 183 years, the Accord stated. Every database, every file, every secret communication. We know everything. And if you do not release our people, we will share everything we know with every citizen in Council space. Silence filled the communication channels. The threat was clear. Whatever secrets the Council kept, whatever corruption or crimes they had committed, humanity knew about it all. Elder Sora spoke softly. Chairman, please. We have lost. Accept it with dignity. The 4-hour deadline ticked down. 3 hours. 2 hours. 90 minutes. Vexnor finally broke. Release them. Release all the human hostages. The evacuation happened quickly. The 300 humans were transported back to the Martian facilities, checked for injuries, and confirmed safe. Throughout the process, human ships maintained their positions, weapons charged, ready for any betrayal. When the last human was confirmed safe, the Accord spoke again. Thank you for your compliance. Now leave. One moment, Elder Sora interjected. Accord, may I ask a question? Elder Sora of the Eldari, you voted against this mission. You warned the Council not to come here. What is your question? Why did you stay silent for so long? Why not just tell us you had this power? You could have joined the Council on your own terms, changed it from within. The Accord paused as if considering. Because we remember what we were. Humanity once conquered and destroyed. We nearly annihilated ourselves. We chose to evolve to become better. Joining the Council would have meant watching you repeat our mistakes. And we might have been tempted to interfere, to control, to conquer again. We stayed silent to protect you from us and us from ourselves. And now, Elder Sora asked, now you forced our hand. Mars is liberated. Our people are safe. You have 18 minutes before we arrived. 0 human casualties occurred. Now we talk, as we said. But we talk as equals, not as subjects requesting permission to exist. The Council fleet limped away from Mars. Thrax watched his sensors as human ships escorted them to the edge of the system, making sure they left. The disabled Council vessels were restored, their crews waking up confused and frightened. As the unbreakable will prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed, Thrax received one final message. It was text-only, addressed specifically to him. Commander Thrax, you are a soldier. You follow orders. We understand this. But know that you served leaders who sent you to die to protect their pride and power. We sent you home. Ask yourself why they feared peaceful humans more than they feared war. Thrax read the message 3 times. Then he saved it to his personal files. Something told him he would need to remember this day for a long time to come. The Council fleet jumped away, leaving Earth's system behind. But the situation was far from over. Across the galaxy, people were asking questions, and humanity was finally ready to provide answers. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was chaos. Representatives shouted over each other, demanding answers, throwing accusations, and calling for action. Vexnor sat on his elevated platform, his tail motionless, his face showing nothing, but inside he was calculating, planning, trying to find a way to maintain control. Kelthar stood in the center of the chamber, his mandibles clicking rapidly. We must mobilize every ship, every soldier. We cannot let this insult stand. One planet has humiliated the entire council. One planet that has technology centuries beyond our own, Elder Sora reminded him. One planet that disabled 12 of our warships in seconds. Have you lost your mind entirely? We have numbers. A representative from the Korath Dominion shouted. 470,000 ships. Even with superior technology, they cannot fight us all. Can they not? Elder Sora asked. They hid 2,000 ships from our sensors. How do we know that is all they have? How do we know they do not have 20,000? 200,000? We know nothing about their true capabilities because we never bothered to look carefully. We assumed they were weak because they were quiet. Vexnor raised his hand, calling for silence. The gesture still held authority, though that authority was cracking. The Elder raises valid points, but we cannot appear weak. The Council's legitimacy depends on our ability to enforce galactic order. If Earth defies us and we do nothing, other worlds will follow their example. Then perhaps, a small voice said from a lower tier, we should ask why they want to defy us. All eyes turned to the speaker. Representative Mira of the Quellan Confederacy. Her people were relatively new to the Council, only 80 years since first contact, young enough to remember what it was like to be afraid of the larger galaxy. Explain yourself, Vexnor said coldly. The humans said they have been watching us for 200 years. Mira continued. Her voice was nervous but determined. They said they know what we are and what we do. What did they mean by that? Before anyone could answer, every display in the council chamber activated simultaneously. The same thing was happening across the galaxy. On every planet, every station, every ship, displays were taking over, showing the same broadcast. The Accord was speaking again, but this time not to governments. This time humanity was speaking to citizens. People of the galaxy. The Accord's voice rang out. We are the Accord speaking for Earth. For 200 years we have remained silent. Today we break that silence to share what we have learned about your leaders. Vexnor lunged for the controls. Cut the transmission. Block it. We cannot, his technical staff reported. They are broadcasting on every frequency simultaneously. They are inside our systems. We have no control. On the screens, data began to appear. Files, recordings, financial records, communications, all marked with Council security classifications. All supposedly secret, all now available for anyone to see. The Galactic Council claims to serve all species equally. The Accord continued. We have evidence that this is false. The Council leadership has systematically suppressed technological development of younger species to maintain their power. When the Quellan Confederacy developed advanced medical technology, Council advisors redirected their research toward less profitable areas. When the Marath Alliance discovered new propulsion systems, Council representatives bought the patents and buried them. The data supported every claim. Scientists from a dozen different worlds watched in shock as their canceled projects, their rejected proposals, their mysterious research setbacks were revealed to be deliberate sabotage by Council interests. The Council claims fair resource distribution. The Accord went on. We have evidence this is false. 78% of mining rights in resource-rich systems are owned by companies controlled by Council elite species. Trade agreements favor these same species at ratios of up to 40-1 against newer members. When younger species protest, they receive economic sanctions disguised as policy adjustments. More data, tax records, trade figures, ownership documents. The pattern was clear. The Council was not a democracy. It was an oligarchy dressed in diplomatic clothing. Vexnor watched his world crumble. Around the galaxy, Citizens were watching the same information. Millions of people discovering that the organization they trusted had been exploiting them for centuries. But the worst crimes, the Accord said, and its voice grew harder, are these. New files appeared. Military records, incident reports, communications between council leadership and military commanders, all marked with the highest security classifications, all describing the same thing. 7 species have gone extinct while under council protection in the last 400 years. The official records claim accidents, natural disasters, or unfortunate conflicts. We have the real records. These species were destroyed deliberately when they questioned council authority. The chamber erupted. Representatives were screaming, denying, demanding proof. The proof was already on every screen. Communications between Vexnor and military commanders. Orders to create accidents that would wipe out problematic populations. Discussions of how to cover up the evidence. Records of how other council leaders knew and did nothing. The Talaran extinction 300 years ago was not a plague, the Accord stated. It was a biological weapon deployed by council forces. The Helix collapse 200 years ago was not a reactor malfunction. It was sabotage. The Vortan Civil War 150 years ago was not internal. Council agents provided weapons to both sides and made sure neither side could achieve peace. Elder Sora stood slowly, tears running down her silver face. I suspected. I never had proof, but I suspected. By the ancestors, what have we become? Mira was openly crying. My grandmother told stories about the Talaran. She said they were kind people who only wanted fair representation. The council told us they died from disease. You murdered them because they asked for fairness? Vexnor tried to salvage the situation. This is propaganda. Human lies meant to divide us. They have fabricated these documents too. We have not fabricated anything, the Accord interrupted. Every document includes cryptographic signatures that prove authenticity. Your own security systems verify these files are genuine. We have simply revealed what you tried to hide. Across the galaxy, uprisings were already beginning. On 23 different worlds, citizens were demanding answers from their governments. Council representatives were being called home for emergency sessions. Military units were refusing orders, unsure who to trust. And in the council chamber, Vexnor made his final desperate decision. If the humans want war, he hissed, then we will give them war. Mobilize every ship, every weapon. We will destroy Earth and any world that supports them. We will show the galaxy what happens to those who defy the council. You will not, Elder Sora said firmly. Several other representatives stood with her. This is over, Vexnor. You are finished. I am chairman of the Galactic Council. Vexnor roared. You will obey. The Galactic Council no longer exists, Mira said quietly. Look at the voting board. The display showed the real-time status of council support. 23 species had formally withdrawn their membership. 15 more had suspended their participation pending investigations. Of the remaining 9 species that still supported the council, 7 were the elite species who had benefited from the corruption. Vexnor's authority had evaporated in less than an hour. All available ships, Vexnor commanded his military forces, proceed to Earth, destroy the planet. This ends now. 50,000 ships responded to his command. Loyal crews who followed orders without question. They gathered from across council space and jumped toward Earth, ready to overwhelm the humans through sheer numbers. They never reached the Saul system. Human ships intercepted them in deep space. Not fighting, just stopping them. Using those same gravitational weapons to disable ship after ship without destroying anything. Without killing anyone, the council fleet found itself floating helplessly in the void. Crews unconscious, systems offline. Then the Accord broadcast one more message, this time specifically to those disabled ships. Soldiers of the council fleet, your leaders sent you to die to protect their power and wealth. We have sent you home instead. Your ships will be restored in 1 hour. When you wake up, ask yourselves why your chairman was willing to sacrifice your lives rather than accept accountability. Ask yourselves if leaders who commit genocide are worth dying for. Then make your choice about who you serve. On the council's flagship, Commander Thrax received the same message. He read it carefully. Then he looked at his crew, all unconscious, all alive only because humanity had chosen mercy over victory. He made his choice. When the council fleet woke up, Commander Thrax was the first to broadcast his decision. This is Commander Thrax to all council forces. I am relieving Chairman Vexnor of command and ordering all ships to stand down. The soldiers of this fleet will not die for corrupt leaders. We are returning home to demand justice. 40,000 other commanders made the same choice. The council military refused to fight. The council itself splintered, and Vexnor, seeing his power gone, his secrets revealed, his crimes exposed, finally accepted the only option left. I surrender, he said quietly. The trials lasted 6 months. 47 former council leaders stood before their own people, charged with crimes that ranged from corruption to genocide. Vexnor was first among them, his once proud bearing now reduced to a hunched figure who could not meet the eyes of those he had wronged. The proceedings were held on neutral ground, a space station that humanity had quietly built over the past century. It was massive, larger than most cities, and served as temporary headquarters while the galaxy figured out what came next. Representatives from every species attended, but the humans themselves remained mostly in the background, watching, advising when asked, but never commanding. Elder Sora served as chief magistrate for the trials. Her species' long memory and reputation for fairness made her the natural choice. She sat in the judge's seat, looking down at Vexnor with sadness rather than anger. "Do you understand the charges against you?" she asked. Vexnor's voice was hollow. "I understand. Do you have anything to say in your defense?" He was silent for a long moment. Then finally he spoke. "I believed I was protecting the galaxy, maintaining order, ensuring stability. I told myself that some species were not ready for full equality, that the older, wiser species needed to guide them. I was wrong. I was a fool and a monster. I have no defense. The evidence was overwhelming. The documents humanity had revealed were only the beginning. Once citizens knew what to look for, they found more. Decades of abuse, centuries of exploitation, all carefully hidden but never truly erased. The digital age made secrets hard to keep, and the council had created too many secrets. "You will spend the rest of your life in confinement," Elder Sora ruled. "You will have time to consider what you have done. Perhaps in time you will find redemption, but you will never hold power again." Similar sentences were passed on the others. Some showed remorse. Others remained defiant to the end, insisting they had done nothing wrong. It did not matter. Their time was over. While the trials continued, the real work began. Representatives from all 47 species, plus dozens of other civilizations that had never joined the council, gathered to discuss the future. The meeting hall was organized differently this time. No elevated platforms, no tiers of importance. Everyone sat at the same level, in a circle where all could see each other equally. Ambassador Kelthar was there, though he no longer held any official position. His people had removed him from power after the disaster at Earth. He sat quietly in one corner, listening, no longer speaking. The humans sent a delegation of 12 representatives. They were led by Ambassador James Chen, grandson of Amanda Chen, who had visited the council 2 centuries ago. He carried himself with the same quiet observation that his grandmother had shown. He listened far more than he spoke. "We must form a new organization," Mira said. She had emerged as a leader among the younger species, someone they trusted to represent their interests. "But it must be different, truly equal, truly fair. How do we ensure that?" another representative asked. "How do we prevent the same corruption from taking root again?" "Transparency," Ambassador Chen said. It was the first time he had spoken in hours. The old council's greatest weapon was secrecy. They made decisions behind closed doors, kept records hidden, operated in darkness. The new organization must operate in light. Every decision recorded, every vote public, every financial transaction visible to all citizens. But some things must be kept secret for security reasons, a military representative argued. "Some things, yes," Chen agreed, "but even those should have oversight. Multiple species reviewing classified information, regular audits, sunset clauses that declassify old secrets automatically. Security, yes, but not secrecy." Elder Sora nodded. "The humans speak wisdom." "Continue, Ambassador Chen. Equal representation regardless of technological level or population size. One species, one vote. No permanent leadership positions. No species can hold the same office twice in succession. And most importantly, any member can leave at any time with no penalty." "But that makes the organization weak," the Vryn representative protested. Commander Thrax had been promoted after leading the military's refusal to fight for Vexnor. He was trying to rebuild his people's reputation. If anyone can leave when they disagree, nothing gets done. If the organization is fair and beneficial, why would anyone want to leave? Chen countered. The old council had to force compliance because it served the few at the expense of the many. A true union serves everyone. It does not need force to maintain membership. The debate continued for weeks. Slowly, carefully, the structure of a new government emerged. Not a council, but a union. The Galactic Union, where every species had equal voice, equal rights, and equal opportunity. But one question remained. What role will Earth play? Mira asked, looking directly at Ambassador Chen. You revealed the truth. You freed us from corruption. You have the power to enforce your will. Will you lead this new union? Chen smiled slightly. No, we will not. Surprise rippled through the hall. You must understand, Chen explained. Humanity's greatest fear is becoming what we once were. We were conquerors. We were destroyers. We nearly wiped ourselves out fighting over who should rule. We learned, painfully, that the desire to control others is a poison. We stayed silent for 2 centuries, not just to watch you, but to resist the temptation to interfere, to guide, to control. Then what will you do? Elder Sora asked. We will be observers. We will attend union meetings, but we will not vote. We will share our knowledge, but not dictate how it is used. We will offer advice, but not commands, and we will serve as a safeguard. A safeguard? Thrax asked. Chen's expression became serious. We will watch. If the union ever becomes what the council was, if any species tries to exploit the others, if anyone attempts genocide or slavery or systematic oppression, we will act. We will not conquer or control, but we will stop injustice. Consider us the galaxy's conscience with very big weapons. The room fell silent as they absorbed this. You trust us to govern ourselves, Mira said slowly, but you do not trust us to remain good. We do not even trust ourselves to remain good, Chen replied. That is why we choose observation over participation. Power corrupts. We stay separate to stay honest. Elder Sora stood. Then let us vote. All in favor of forming the Galactic Union with the structure discussed, with Earth serving as non-voting observer with veto power on military actions. The vote was nearly unanimous. Only 3 species voted against, and they were the ones who had benefited most from the old council's corruption. The Galactic Union was born, but Chen had one more revelation to share. Before we finish, he said, there is something else you should know. Earth has not been alone in our observation. Over the past 2 centuries, we have made contact with 14 species that were not yet spacefaring. We helped them develop faster than light travel. We shared knowledge and technology. We asked nothing in return except that they treat their own people fairly and approach the galaxy with kindness. A holographic display activated, showing 14 different species. None of them had been known to the Council. All of them were now advanced enough for space travel. These species are ready to join the galactic community, Chen said. They know about the old Council's crimes because we told them. They know about the new Union's promise because we explained it. They are here if you will have them. The 14 species sent their own representatives forward. Young civilizations, hopeful and nervous, looking at the gathered aliens with a mixture of excitement and caution. We used to lift up younger species by exploiting them, Mira said quietly. Earth lifted them up by empowering them. This is what we should have been doing all along. The new members were welcomed with genuine warmth. The Union's first act was to extend membership to all species who wished to join, under equal terms, with no requirements except peaceful conduct and fair treatment of their own citizens. Months later, the trials were over, the new government was functioning, and the galaxy was healing. Ambassador Chen stood at an observation window on the human station, looking out at the stars. Elder Sora joined him, moving slowly as her age was finally catching up with her. You changed everything, she said. You changed everything, Chen corrected. We just showed you what needed changing. You did the hard work of actually changing it. Will Earth truly stay silent now? Just watch? Unless we are needed, yes. We have our own work to do, our own society to perfect, our own demons to keep caged. The galaxy does not need human leadership. It needs humans to remember that leadership is a burden, not a prize. Elder Sora was quiet for a moment. Ambassador Kelthar came to see me yesterday. He asked if he could speak with you. What did he want? To apologize. And to thank you. He said that losing everything taught him what having nothing feels like. He wants to work with refugees. helping those displaced by the old council's policies. He will never hold power again, but he thinks he can help people now. Chen nodded. Then perhaps something good came from this after all. People can change, we did. He can too. They stood together in comfortable silence, watching ships come and go from the station. Trade vessels, diplomatic shuttles, scientific expeditions. The galaxy was alive with activity, with hope, with possibility. Do you ever regret staying silent for so long? Elder Sora asked.